You are securing a kill. The asset is vital, but you are not the apex predator in this theatre. A contact emerges. It is Arctodus simus, the short-faced bear. It stands nearly 6 feet at the shoulder and weighs over 1,500 pounds. Its specialization is not hibernation. It is pursuit and kleptoparasitism. It is designed to take your resources. What is your plan? Let's analyze the battlefield. This is not a grizzly. It is not an omnivore. Our first action in this threat assessment is to discard any models based on modern ursids. The short-faced bear is a distinct tactical entity, a hypercarnivore engineered for a single purpose: resource acquisition on the open steppe. When we analyze the isotopic data from its remains, such as those studied at the Yukon sites, we see a nitrogen signature indicating a diet almost exclusively of high-quality meat. This animal did not browse. It hunted, or more likely, it practiced aggressive kleptoparasitism. It was a specialist in conflict, designed to drive other predators, wolves, saber-toothed cats, and human hunting parties off their hard-won kills. Its entire physiology is the weapon system. The schematic of its skeleton reveals the primary threat: its limbs. Arctodus simus has disproportionately long, slender legs, particularly the lower limb bones. This is not the build of a brawler or an ambush predator. This is the chassis of a pursuit animal. Its anatomy suggests a pacing gait, an incredibly efficient long-distance stride. While a modern bear can achieve a short burst of speed, it is energetically inefficient. Arctodus, we hypothesize, could maintain speeds approaching 40 miles per hour over significant distances. This capability defines its threat radius. On the open, flat terrain of Pleistocene North America, this bear's operational range is vast. It could spot a kill or a hunting party from miles away and close the distance before a human group could effectively react or retreat. You cannot outrun it. This factor alone makes it a catastrophic logistical drain. Any human operation must account for its potential presence. The second weapon system is its head. The name short-faced bear refers to its truncated muzzle. This anatomical feature, combined with wide, forward-facing eye sockets, suggests a greater reliance on binocular vision than on smell. This is critical for target acquisition during a high-speed pursuit, allowing it to track and intercept targets effectively. While the muzzle is short, the skull is deep, providing massive attachment points for the temporalis muscles. This creates a devastating bite force, engineered not for slashing, but for crushing. It could shatter the femur of a mammoth to access marrow. A human target presents no structural resistance. But this hyperspecialization is also its primary exploitable weakness. Arctodus simus is a specialist in linear pursuit. Those long, gracile limbs, so effective on the open plain, are a structural failure point. When we analyze the physics of its movement, this animal is poorly adapted for lateral agility. Its high center of gravity and rigid, forward-optimized skeletal structure mean that a rapid change in direction, a sharp 90-degree turn, would place immense torque on its leg bones, risking catastrophic fracture. It is a runner, not a wrestler. This single data point is the key to any counter-strategy. On the open field, the battlefield geometry belongs entirely to the bear. It dictates the terms of the engagement. But if a human element can force the confrontation into complex terrain, dense forest, a boulder field, or a prepared channel, that primary advantage is neutralized. The very specialization that makes it the apex predator becomes its critical vulnerability. With the threat's primary weakness identified, the strategic counterplan becomes clear. This is not an engagement of equals. It is a textbook case of asymmetric warfare. The 150-pound human element cannot match the 1,500-pound target in speed, power, or aggression. To attempt a direct confrontation on the open steppe is tactical suicide. Therefore, the entire human strategy must be based on negating the bear's advantages and forcing the engagement onto ground of our choosing. The primary weapon in this conflict is not a spear. It is the tactical application of battlefield geometry. The hunter-strategist knows that Arctodus is a linear predator. Its entire biological system is optimized for forward velocity. The human counter-strategy is to weaponize the landscape itself. This is an exercise in area denial. The objective is to select terrain that makes the bear's primary asset, its speed, a liability. We can see this hypothetical strategy applied in two phases. First, proactive selection. A hunting party processing a mammoth kill, a high-value asset that will absolutely attract this type of predator, would not do so in an open field. They would select a site that has innate defensive advantages: a box canyon, a dense grove of trees, a sharp river embankment, or a field of large boulders. This is terrain trapping. By pre-selecting the battlefield, they create a kill zone where the bear's lateral agility is immediately put to the test. As it is forced to slow, climb, and turn, its structural failure point, the high torque on its long limbs, is maximized. Second, reactive measures. If a party is caught in a less than ideal location, they must actively create this complex geometry. The key tool here is fire. Fire is not used as a direct weapon. Its tactical value is psychological warfare and channeling. A line of fire, even a small one, is an effective barrier. It creates a vector. By building strategic fires, the hunters can funnel the charging bear away from open ground and force it into the desired kill corridor, for example, between two rock formations. The bear's own linear instincts and aversion to the flames will guide it precisely where the hunters want it to go. Only when the battlefield is set and the target is channeled do the projectile systems come into play. Let's analyze the Paleolithic arsenal. The core of this system is the atlatl, or spear thrower. This is the period's single greatest force multiplier. When we analyze the physics, a spear thrown by hand is a low-velocity, low-energy projectile. Against the target with the hide, muscle and bone density of Arctodus, it is unlikely to penetrate to a vital zone. The atlatl is an engineering solution to this problem. It is a simple lever, but its effect is profound. By adding an extension to the thrower's arm, it radically increases the angular velocity applied to the projectile. The dart, which is typically long and flexible, stores this potential energy like a spring, launching at speeds we estimate to be in excess of 90 miles per hour. This velocity is the critical variable. It transforms the dart from a simple spear into a high kinetic energy projectile capable of penetrating the target's armor. But the delivery system is only half of the equation. We must analyze the ordnance itself. The Clovis point. The Clovis point is not just a sharpened stone. It is a meticulously engineered warhead. Its most prominent feature is the central flute, a channel removed from the base. This is a brilliant innovation in hafting technology. This channel allows the point to be seated securely and deeply onto the dart's foreshaft, creating a bond of immense durability. Why is this important? Because upon impact with a target like Arctodus, the forces are extreme. A poorly hafted point would shatter or glance off. The fluted Clovis design ensures that 100% of the kinetic energy generated by the atlatl is transferred directly from the shaft, through the point, and into the target. The point's leaf-shaped cross-section is not designed to simply poke a hole. It is designed to cut a wide, devastating wound channel. The objective is not an instant kill shot to the brain, an impossible target, but to create a massive logistical drain on the bear by inducing catastrophic hemorrhage. This is the mechanical, systematic bleeding out of a superior foe. Section 3. We now run the tactical simulation based on the principles established. Let's analyze the top-down schematic. The scenario. A 4-person human element is processing a high-value resource, a bison kill. The terrain is open steppe, the bear's ideal hunting ground. The red vector indicates the inbound threat. Target acquisition is visual. Arctodus has spotted the activity from a kilometer out and is now closing at a sustained high velocity. The human element's first action is the most critical. They do not defend the kill. To stand and fight in this open geometry is a catastrophic failure. Instead, they execute a planned withdrawal. This is a deliberate, strategic move. Their objective is a pre-scouted terrain trap 200 meters from the kill site, a dense thicket of boulders and deadfall that the bear cannot penetrate at speed. They sacrifice the resource to control the battlefield geometry. The bear, driven by its specialization in kleptoparasitism, follows. It breaks off from the carcass, the bait, and reacquires the human targets. As it closes, the human element enters the terrain trap. The engagement now enters the second phase. The bear attempts to follow, but its primary weapon system is instantly neutralized. The schematic shows its linear vector breaking down. It is forced to slow, to pick its way through the complex obstacles. Its long, gracile limbs, so efficient for pacing, are now a liability. It must move laterally, place its feet with care, and expose its flanks. Its structural failure point is now the primary factor in the engagement. The human element, meanwhile, has moved through the trap and taken up prepared positions. This is the pre-designated kill zone. They have used the terrain to create separation and elevation. The bear is now in the corridor, disorientated and frustrated, while the hunters are on the perimeter, holding the high ground. The engagement is initiated by the atlatl teams. From their elevated positions, the projectile ballistics are optimized. They are not targeting the head, a low percentage shot. They are targeting the primary vital zone, the thoracic cavity, the massive engine of muscle and lungs. The first volley strikes. The Clovis-tipped darts, launched by the atlatl's force-multiplying lever, have the kinetic energy to penetrate hide and muscle. The bear reacts, but it is trapped. It cannot charge the attackers. It cannot flee without turning its back. Every move it makes in the complex terrain is slow, awkward, and exposes it to another volley. This is not a fight. It is a systematic execution. The objective is cumulative damage and catastrophic blood loss. The bear's superior size and power are rendered irrelevant by the intellectual application of area denial. After-action report. We can draw two key conclusions from this tactical reconstruction. Strategic patience is the primary weapon. The defining moment of success was not the first throw of the atlatl. It was the decision to abandon the resource and retreat to prepared ground. This demonstrates a high-level understanding of resource management and risk assessment. The asset, the bison, was sacrificed to guarantee the survival of the team. This is the definition of asymmetric warfare. The human element never met the 1,500-pound predator on its own terms. They identified its hyper-specialization, linear pursuit, and turned it into a critical vulnerability. They weaponized the landscape itself. This intellectual victory, the ability to outthink rather than outfight, is the recurring theme of human survival in the Paleolithic. This analysis confirms that survival was a function of strategy, not strength. The question we are left with is this: what element of the terrain trap, the narrow confines or the verticality of the high ground, do you believe was the most critical variable for success? The next intelligence briefing is pending. Ensure you are subscribed.